Okay, hello. Today my name will be Peter. Your name will be Pahuawup. And in this video brought to us by Appeals, I am once again venturing just a little ways into the unknown, into the world of weird pens and pen nibs and ways to draw. I bought a very, very cheap entry level, maybe pre-entry level nib holder, something called an oblique nib holder. And at first I couldn't even figure out how it worked. I was holding it wrong, backwards, upside down, something. I had put the nibs that come with it in there backwards. But eventually I figured it out. Look, if you ended up somehow at this video because you searched on YouTube, oblique pen holders, nib holders, how do they work? Something like that. Look, I don't know either. I just found out about their existence. And I thought, it's a type of pen. I wonder if I can use it for drawing. All I really know is that it's really, I think, invented and intended for calligraphy. And so I think that if you find some calligraphy enthusiast video where people are really into all that pretty type of, script writing, calligraphy, Gothic, that kind of thing, that's really where it comes into play, because it lets you hold the nib straight vertically up and down instead of at a more natural hand angle, because your hand comes from one side of your body and not straight out of your chest, like Zaphod Beeblebrox, if you know who I'm talking about. A lot of times if you see people writing calligraphy, you'll see that they slant the paper at an incredible angle so that they can approach their calligraphy at this, straight up and down. But I guess this oblique nib holder lets them, I guess it's some sort of solution for that. But basically I thought, hey, it's a type of pen, something, can I use it for drawing? And turns out, yes, it works okay. It does. And oblique in this case just means not parallel or perpendicular. I think that's all that means. It just means at an angle. All right, big announcement. The art contest, which we've had running on this channel that we did with Appeals, is finally over and done. Thank you to everyone who submitted something, who participated, and all of you that went on there and looked through the incredible, huge range of talented artwork that was submitted. Thank you for voting. So all the votes are in, they've been counted, they've been tabulated, and it's time to announce the winners. All right, so let's get right into it. First of all, I want to hand out some good old-fashioned, good vibes participation trophies to anyone that submitted something and uploaded something. You're all wonderful. Appeals will be handing out just a bunch of invitations to their creator program to a lot of the various people that participated, whether you won this or not. You can always go and apply to that creator program also to have your artwork on Appeals, to be sold there, monetize your art, get your art out there in the real world on stickers and stuff people can put out there. Anyways, okay, the winners. I have the winners here, starting with the 3 runners-up, who all get $50 cash each, and phone appeals of their winning design and invitation to the creator program. The 3 winners up are, I'll put their names on the screen here because I will probably butcher your names. I apologize. Joao Araujo, Anna Baranja, Juan Ojeda Tellez. I so much apologize for butchering your names. Congratulations to the 3 runners up, Joao, Anna, and Juan. They all get $50. Incredible artworks here on the screen. You can see them. Just terrific. Good job. Well done. And now for second place, who gets $150, including the other stuff that the third place people got, the runners up. Second place is Larry McFall with this drawing entitled Kneel. Congratulations, Larry. Really well done. I've seen a bunch of your drawings. I think you even sent me one. But now for the first place winner. No, first place winners. 2 first place winners, both getting $300 as well as getting their winning design on phone appeals and invitations to the creator program. Those two people are, drum roll, help from the audience, please. I don't know how to make a drum roll sound. Is that close? Here he is, Oscar Perez and Julian Moss, with their two drawings, Ancestros and Pools of the East Wood. Congratulations, well done, both of you, for your first place placements, winnings. But congratulations to all the winners, including of course the first place winners there. I'm glad all of you could participate. Everyone that submitted something, of course. This is a fun thing to do here on the channel. I'm glad to get some people some cash for their art. Sorry. The worst part about art contests is that everyone can't win, but some people can. Thank you, Appeals, for helping me out with that contest and putting the cash up. You can go look at all the winning designs in the link in the description, and there's a link there. You can go upload your own designs if you just want to slap one of, I don't know, like a picture of your own face on the back of a phone appeals and put it on your own phone. That way everyone knows whose phone your phone is. Even something as simple and goofy as that. Stick it, remove it, right? Reuse it. It even works on the back of this piece of printer paper that I printed off with the winners' names. Go check it out. 15% off all phone appeals for the month of July with the promo code FREEDOM. Thank you, everyone that participated. Hopefully we can do some more art contests in the future. Let me know what you thought of it. And well done, everyone. All right, so I was experimenting a little bit with this oblique pen holder, something intended for calligraphy. Basically, what one of the strengths of a dip pen is it makes it very easy to try out different types of ink. And I did recently buy some new inks here. Wait, there you go. These inks were from Kiwi Ink. As you can see here, there's a little kiwi bird, and it says Kiwi Ink. Basically, this is an ink I found out about on Reddit. There's a subreddit called Fountain Pens, and they had, this is a special ink right here. I don't really know how to explain this. This is a charity ink called Quite a Rough Customer, and in very tiny words right there it says, from our fountain pens. And basically what had happened was there had been a long time user on the fountain pens. If you don't know what Reddit is there's like dedicated forums for different subjects. It's like message chat rooms, message rooms. I don't really know how to explain it if you don't know what it is. Anyways, people that like fountain pens go there, interact with each other. Okay, that's what's going on here. Fountainpens.reddit.com if you want to check it out. Nice people talk about fountain pens, share pictures, and get enthusiastic about nerdy fountain pen type stuff. Basically what happened is there was a person there named, their username was Quite a Rough Customer, and apparently he got cancer and died. And his wife ended up posting, I'm hesitant to talk about this because I'm afraid I'll get the story wrong, but I think his wife ended up posting shortly afterwards about briefly his story about what happened or how much the forum that subreddit had meant to him, and there was like a huge show of support. And then this company, Kiwi Inks, they made this ink named after him, and all of this ink that was bought, all the proceeds went to some, you can go look at it, some cancer charity. I hope I got that story right. It's a nice orange ink. Like, you might know that I hardly ever buy orange inks. I usually stick to buying these black inks, but this ink store, Kiwi Inks, is different to me because, first of all, if you go on there, it's just they have a very simple, straightforward layout on their website, and it says that each ink is handmade, hand bottled. They take, like here on the label, this ink swatch here on the label is from inside this bottle. And same thing here with these two. And you might be wondering, Peter, why did you buy 2 bottles of black ink? Are you just going to go through them that first? No, but look on the back. One says dry, one says wet. And they have all sorts of specifications. You can go on there and you can be like, yeah, I want it actually to have more shimmer, more sheen. I want it a little bit more glostery. I don't even know if that's a real word, but if you asked for it, they would probably find a way to do it for you. It seems like there's a high level of customization you can ask for, and I didn't even really know what it meant exactly to have wet and dry inks, but I thought, well, only one way to find out. I buy a bottle of wet, buy a bottle of dry, and we can try out this Quite a Rough customer Cans for Charity ink as well. Thought I might as well. But what I was trying to say is that dip pens are nice because it's a easy way to try out a bunch of different inks without having to fill up or dirty a whole fountain pen, right? Although I do feel like I'm almost breaking the nib whenever I'm shoving it into the nib holder. Yeah, look how much this one flexes. You can see the tines going apart. All right, let's try out this one. Quite a Rough customer. And then we'll get into trying to figure out the difference between wet and dry. You know, for this I probably should go get some, I have nice fountain pen paper right here. Tomoe River paper pad. But it does get a little bit harder with these bottles with the oblique nib holder to dip it in a little, like as far as I want to. That could end up being a problem. Let me try to write in cursive. I was going to write hello, but I'm not sure how it's supposed to work. Wow. It didn't seem to hold a lot of ink. Did I do it wrong? I think it's because I pushed the tines so far apart. There we go. This is a nice color. I thought it wouldn't be this, I don't know, potent? What's the word? Because the bottle seems so see-through and clear. I might try a different nib. All right, this is the C2 nib. It looks like it should be able to hold a lot of ink if I can get it in there. Wow. All right, that nib's too much for me. I don't know what I'm doing. 512. These numbers surely mean something to someone. Oh, this one's very smooth. Oh, that feels good, actually. This ink does look very nice, though. See, it has a little reservoir up here. A little hole at the top. Nice. I feel like I could draw with this nib. All right, so yeah, I feel good about the Quite a Rough customer ink. I could recommend that. It's hard to get the nibs out of it. I feel like I'm going to break them. The nibs feel so fragile, and then they're in there so stubbornly. Is there a secret? Here's a B4 nib. Whatever that means. Let's go over here and test out the wet and the dry. I mean, do you think this just determines like how wet they stay or how they look after they dry? This is the wet one. Oh, now that is calligraphy. Wet. There you go. This nib feels like drawing with a marker. It's really gushy, generous, satisfying. I like it. I have to take note of that. B4. B4. Wet. Let me rinse it off. All right, let's try the dry ink next to it. Dry. Oh, I don't know how to do cursive. I don't know how to write a lot of E's in a row. I do love this nib. Ooh, that's nice. All right, at the moment they look pretty similar. Still B4. I don't know why I wrote that up there. I could write after. Before, after. This nib holds a lot, though. I mean, look at all the ink it's putting down. Wow. I mean, the wet one is drying. After it dries, is it still considered wet ink? Maybe this one is drying faster? No, I'm just kind of letting them both dry completely. So far, they seem completely the same. Not really noticing a difference. I mean, you can see the light still shining off both of them pretty similarly. The wet one seems wet. The dry one seems wet. But the wet one has dry spots. The dry one has dry spots. They both... Maybe my senses just aren't attuned enough. Do you think this was not a good ink experiment to determine the difference between wet and dry ink? Maybe this level of... Maybe is my ink palette not refined enough to appreciate the differences at this level? It could be. I mean, maybe the wet one is still slightly more wet than the dry one. I feel like it's been 5 or 10 minutes now. And you might say, Peter, you did the dry one afterwards, so if they're the same level, the dry one should be wetter. And the fact that the dry one is drier and you did it afterwards, it had less time to dry, proves that it is a drier ink. But I feel like it's only a difference of like 5%. It's a very minimal difference. I don't know. Maybe it's something else entirely. Neither of them are smudging or anything. That's a good sign. Actually, the wet one is smudging a little bit. The dry one's not. Oh, maybe that's what it is. Look, there's a little smudgy McSmudgerson going on there. The wet stuff. The dry one, not as noticeable. In that case, I definitely like the dry one better. Actually, it is a little bit, but definitely not nearly as much as the wet one. But I think I was only touching the dry parts of the wet one too. Anyways. So I just have to say thank you to the person who sent me all of these nibs. When I bought the little, it was like a $12 starter kit that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. $12 kit that came with like 6 nibs, and I didn't like any of those nibs. They were all incredibly flexible and for me, therefore, unsatisfying to draw with. And there were only 2 different types of nibs among the 6 of them. But quite a while ago, someone sent me a baggie of these speedball nibs. And I had to look up like a chart. There's a chart somewhere of all these speedball nibs, the types of them. There's like a chart like B4, like B1 through B4, B5, B5 and a half, B6, C, D, a big thorough chart. And then on the chart, it like says, like this one is used for this. It's more or less flexible, consistent. There's like little descriptions of what kind of line each nib draws. It's very helpful. And so I was going through the little baggie of nibs that this person sent me and finding one that said it had nice, consistent, crisp lines that was good for ink drawing. And I found some very satisfying nibs. So I just want to say thank you to whoever it was that sent me these nibs. I feel so bad I don't remember who it was because it was quite a while ago, maybe like a year ago. And I just hadn't done any drawing with dip pens in so long that they were just sitting there on my shelf. If it was you, shout, make a comment and hopefully I'll see you. But thank you, whoever it was. This oblique nib holder itself worked a lot better than I thought it would. It does feel weird. Maybe because I'm so far away. When you grip it, you're so far away from the tip of the pen. And there's like a weird jog in it, right? It goes down off to the side and then down at a different angle, the oblique angle. It almost kind of feels like drawing the equivalent of like walking on stilts, but drawing. But I quickly got used to it. And at the beginning, the drawing you saw at the beginning of the video was a lot quicker and sketchier. But here I tried something a little slower and more precise. And I was afraid I wouldn't be able to do it because of how kind of far away and precarious the tip of the pen felt. But it really was possible. And I still felt very precise with this pen. I feel like there's plenty of control, so I can see how this still would be very capable and useful for calligraphy, because I feel like calligraphy, it probably is all about control and precision, right? I did kind of feel like I had to relearn a couple of, like a little bit of muscle memory here and there, but that's okay too. Yeah, it worked good. I had this strange sensation once again while editing this video. Well, because while I was doing most of this drawing, I was listening to an audiobook once again. And lately I listen just to music while I draw. But this time I listened to an audiobook. I was listening to a book by Brandon Sanderson that someone recommended to me. The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, which I think is a fairly popular, like fantasy book. I think there's a whole series called, it's the Mistborn series. You may or may not have heard of it, but there's this whole sensation that I've mentioned before where I go through all the footage of me drawing. I edit it again. I take out all the little cuts and jumps, so it's like one smooth clump of footage that looks like I'm a machine that never takes any breaks or never takes my hand away from the paper, right? I go through it and edit it, but as I'm like fast forwarding through this footage, the story that I was listening to while I was drawing it plays again in my mind. Like as I see each line that I was drawing, it recalls to my mind the part of the story that I was listening to when I drew those lines. Anyways, mostly what I want to say is that these books are critically acclaimed, and they are pretty good books. Like they're very engaging and I'm not reading them, but I'm listening to them. Listening toable. Like I want to keep listening. Like I want to find out what happens next. So it's a good story, but I feel like there's some trope here that I'm getting a little bit tired of. And I feel like it's mostly present in fantasy stories. And it's this classic idea of someone who is neglected, poor, weak, and they look forward to having a typically uneventful life, right? There's nothing special about them at first. And then they find out that there actually is something special about them. They have some latent powers within them. In fact, they're incredibly special. In fact, they find out that they're the maybe most special person ever, right? They find out that there's some powers within them. They have these powers. And then, but this happens over and over again in stories, I feel like. And to me, it just seems a little bit overdone. Not overdone, but done too many times, right? It happens in fantasy books, fantasy movies, and personally, about half of these stories almost always consists of this person slowly and laboriously being convinced by the other characters that yes, come on, you are special. You have the powers. We already told you have the powers. You even see that you have the powers. Come on, just save the world already. It's like it's not even half the time it's not even a matter of them developing the powers. It's just that classic age-old story of the main character having to learn to believe in themselves, right? I don't know. Is it weird that I get so tired of that? There is a kind of a parallel to this trope in video games. For example, I feel like this story, maybe this whole arc, of course, I'm only like halfway through the first book of this series, the Mistborn series. I feel like the video game version of it might be, for example, Skyrim, if you've played that. I don't know if you're listening right now, if you're familiar with anything of what I'm talking about. This is incredibly common in like role-playing video games, where you have like character progression, where you go through the story. I mean, sometimes there doesn't even have to be much of a story. You just kind of create the story for yourself if it's an open world game, but the character levels up, gets stronger. But specifically in Skyrim, you're not the Mistborn, you're the Dragonborn, right? You find out at the beginning, or near the beginning at least, that you have some special powers, you are one in a million, and then it's up to you from there to fulfill your destiny, to expand into that destiny and grow and become more powerful, right? I enjoy that, actually. I like those games because at least then in the video game, I'm in control of how fast I grow and what powers I have and how to use them. But in the books, when I'm reading, I feel like I'm just there helplessly following along. You know, I'm like a helpless spectator, and I don't know, I guess I get frustrated that I can't make the decisions. It's like maybe that's why I like the video game versions better. And that's also why some video games have like tons of cutscenes. Is that what they're called? Yeah, cutscenes. Some people like those video games that are very heavy on like storyline and stuff, and I don't like those as much. I skip almost every cutscene in video games if it's skippable. I just want to go back to if I want to watch something with cutscenes, I'll just go watch a movie or listen to an audiobook, right? I either want a story I'm in control of or not. I don't really like the combination of both. I don't like the middle ground. Anyway, sorry for my brief rant about reluctant heroes. I guess there probably are a lot of parallels to how this happens in real life, but people just wanting to be normal or something and resistant to change in life and all that. A lot of ways to explain it and how it can be legitimate, but still. Anyways, okay, I'm gonna go now. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about heroes and oblique pen nibs. Okay, goodbye.